Over the years, many of you have questioned the purpose, the significance of this bracelet, this amulet. Have speculated, always behind my back of course, but have pondered just the same, what is it? Why does he wear it? What does it mean? Well, my punks and my skins, this is the perfect interval at which to enlighten you, for you see today is November the 11th. Today is the 100th anniversary of Armistice Day, that centennial point of 1918 which marks the end of World War I. 100 years ago today the peace treaty was signed at the 11th hour, the 11th day of the 11th month, and so on and so forth, as it has all been said before. But that which remained unsaid, that which was unspoken, that which is dismissed, that which is carelessly explained away is the fact that World War I was absolutely unnecessary. It did not have to happen. You are, of course, acquainted with cause and effect. Well then, what were the causative factors of the First World War? What caused it to happen? What was its cause? Its effects, of course, are manifest. They are inescapable. In point of fact, virtually everything which is wrong with the world as you know it today is directly attributable to World War I. The First World War introduced modern warfare to this planet. It laid waste to Europe overseas. In America, it spawned a rigid isolationism and spurred the live fast and die hard mentality of the 1920s, which led directly to the Great Depression, which collaterally led directly to World War I Part II. The sequel. The shadow of the swastika. That, of course, ended in the Cold War stalemate, which marched into the mountains of Korea and into the jungles of Vietnam, all the while during which, with blood-stained biblical proportions, a seemingly endless battle has raged and ravaged in the Middle East. This is the timeline, boys and girls. You know it well. But now we're going to do something a little bit different. We're going to take that timeline and we are going to reverse it. Now please pay strict attention. Watch closely and see for yourselves what happens when we do that. Your current populist White House occupant was voted into office on a tidal wave of successfully orchestrated fear, which was caused by, well, rampant terrorism, fanatical extremist jihadists, and the overall turmoil in the Middle East, which was caused by, well, the endless conflict centered around the geographical dynamics of the country of Israel, which was caused by, well, the diaspora of Jewish immigrants and refugees and survivors of the anti-Semitism, of the persecution imposed upon them by the Second World War, which was caused by, well, the Third Reich in Germany, the establishment of which was caused by, National Socialism, the rabid, crazed support of which was caused by, well, the desperation and depravity of the Great Depression, and that depressed, disgruntled, dissatisfied spirit of defeat which pervaded Germany due to their having lost World War I, which was caused by, and there you have it. There it is, boys and girls. There is the disconnect. There is where the tragic progression is arrested, where it is bottlenecked. Here is where the timeline fails. Now here is likewise where the historians and the experts and the fact-faced scholars will all condescendingly, smugly dismiss what I'm about to tell you as oversimplified rhetoric, which is exactly what they themselves will employ in explaining that there is no breakdown, there is no aberration, there is no interruption. The timeline flows smoothly retroactively into yesteryear, uninterrupted. World War I, of course, in turn was caused by, why? The assassination of an Austrian heir to the throne, by smoldering geopolitical unrest, by the rise of militarism, by the rise of nation-states, by the checkerboard of disputed territories, of royal lineages, of Habsburgs and Hohenzollerns, of many empires and micro-kingdoms, each one locked in a mortal combat of intrigue and espionage until it all reached a boiling point and exploded into war. And all of this, of course, was caused by, they will tell you, caused by all of this which was caused by... It was caused by that ongoing domino effect which is history itself. It was caused by the Industrial Revolution. It was caused by Otto von Bismarck, by the Franco-Prussian War, by the American Civil War, by Napoleon, by the War of 1812, which was caused by the French Revolution, and by proxy caused by the American Revolution, which was caused by European oppression, which was caused by the likes of Frederick the Great, going all the way back to Charlemagne and the Holy Roman Empire, which was caused by ancient Rome, which was caused by the Bronze Age, which was caused by the cavemen, which was caused by the dinosaurs, which was caused by evolution, which was caused by the chicken and the egg and the chicken, which was caused by the cow that tossed the dog, that buried the cat, that swallowed the rat, that ate the malt, that lay in the house that Jack built, and so on, back to the beginning of time immemorial. And all of this, in turn, which was caused by God having said, "And let there be light." And that is where they are wrong. Oh, to be sure, children, God did indeed say, "Let there be light," and thus begat dinosaurs, and cavemen, and ancient Rome, and Charlemagne, and George Washington, and Napoleon, and Bismarck, all the way back to that cause and effect crossroads of 1914. And here again, we reach that point of disconnect. We all know what happens after this point. You are the living, breathing descendants of these effects. The effects are clear. The effects are everywhere. You are still paying for the effects. But to say that the cause of these effects, to say that the cause of these effects were the geopolitical minutiae at this juncture in history, that these are the justifiably causative factors that amount to World War I's simply having had to take place, being unavoidable? No. That is not good enough. That does not cut it. That does not come close. I want you to imagine a world in which such a war had not been allowed to take place. To what it would follow, there would be no aftermath. There would have been no prohibition. There would have been no foothold for organized crime, or communism for that matter. There would have been no Great Depression. There would have been no Second World War. There would have been no Third Reich. There would have been no Nationalsozialismus. There would have been no Führerprinzip. And Adolf Schicklgruber, he would have continued being a nondescript, non-entity paper hanger. There would have been no Holocaust, no Pearl Harbor, no atom bomb, no Viet goddamn Nam war, and there would have been no endless, interminable conflict in the Middle East. None of it. Now I want you to imagine being the cause of all of that brutal, barbed-wired barbarity, being the cause of all of these effects, and then trying to explain it all away, trying to account for all of it with chessboard histrionics of unchecked nationalism, which of course is what is complacently employed to explain it all away in the first place. No, that is not good enough. Those are not reasons. Those are not even passable excuses. Not even for laughs. Oh, no. No, this specious rationalization is simply not good enough. And yet, here it is, in all of your history books. And it is echoed from Forest Lawn to Arlington National Cemetery as stone-cold, sobering fact in epitaph. A lesson 100 years in the making, only to be ignored as you all stand on the precipice of witnessing a history hell-bent and doomed to repeat itself. Oh, but back to the matter at hand, children. My amulet. Some of you little piggies are married to the idea, in love with the thought that this bracelet directly links me to the Third Reich, when in fact it originates from the Second. From Imperial Germany. From that Germany of World War I. I wear it as a memento, as a remembrance of everything which was so needlessly, uselessly, worthlessly sacrificed, and of everything which was so pointlessly lost in that conflict. But I likewise wear it as a constant reminder of the way in which everything up to this very moment here and now has been so irreversibly damaged. For those to whom today is a centennial commemorative point, and to the millions of soldierly souls who have fallen in stride over the course of this past century, I will put this World War I tribute in terms which all of you punk rockers and all of you skinheads will surely be able to understand. And the band played Waltzing Matilda. And the old men still answered the call. But year after year, their numbers grew fewer. Soon then no one will march there at all. May this testament stand as one of my more lucid points of recollection. It will probably go unheard and unheeded by all of you, but it will have been consigned to posterity all the same. There you have it, boys and girls. The Great War. The war to end all wars. World War I.